Have you ever faced a time where everything that you thought was permanent was falling apart? Did you know that some of the craziest, most famous Bible stories all happened within the same generation? Ezekiel and his crazy wheel upon wheel visions, Daniel in the lion's den where God literally shuts the mouths of lions so that they don't eat him, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego thrown into the fiery furnace and they don't get burned as this angelic being appears in the fire beside them to protect them. Why was God so active in that generation? Well, this all happened during one of Israel's most traumatic transitions ever, the Babylonian exile. In 586 BC, it was the collapse of the temple, the Davidic monarchy, and the belief that God's people were secure in the promised land. In other words, everything that seemed permanent was falling apart. But instead of being apathetic, which many people seem to charge God with being, he gave visuals of his character through these stories to remind his hurting people of these things. Ezekiel's wheel prophecies remind them that God is not bound by space and time, and even there in exile, he is still on the throne and in control. God doesn't stay behind stained glass, he moves with you. The Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego story shows us that God doesn't always take you out of the fire. Sometimes he gets in there with you. They didn't see God until they were in the fire. The fire didn't burn them. It burned off their chains. So if you are in the fire right now, look around. You are not alone. It will not burn you. The lion's den showed that God shuts the mouths of those that will devour you. Faithfulness might get you thrown in the pit, but it will not leave you defenseless. Daniel wasn't spared the den, but he was spared the damage. You might face false accusations, threats, and setups, but God has the final say. The lions didn't go away, but their power was neutralized. Don't fear the roar. If God sent you into the den, he knows how to shut some mouths. So if you're facing a situation where everything that seemed permanent is falling apart, keep these 3 stories in your heart to remind you that God is not bound, God is present. God is in control even when the system fails, the heat rises, or the predators circle. God can turn your situation around in a day. Also remember that God didn't just make up stories to teach a point. He actually demonstrated these in real events. Sometimes we look at these and think they're just fairy tales to teach a principle, but God teaches about himself by demonstration, not explanation. These aren't just inspirational words, they were realities you can depend on. God will show up for real in your life, and he will rescue you. We can have true faith because of the constant, consistent demonstration of his faithfulness.